Hi, Chris Digirolamo from Maggiano, DiGirolamo and Lizzi. Very often, I get asked by potential clients when they first come in to see me after an accident, what kind of insurance do I have? I know my agent told me I have full coverage. Or they say, I went online to get my insurance, they told me I had full coverage. And unfortunately, the phrase full coverage does not mean how it sounds. In New Jersey, there are very different kinds of auto insurance, and that's what we'll be talking about. Every driver in the state of New Jersey is required by New Jersey law to have auto insurance if they're operating a motor vehicle. Sadly, not everybody follows that rule, but for now, let's focus on what kind of insurance you should get. So New Jersey allows for a minimum of liability insurance, and traditionally that amount was $15,000. And what that means is if you cause injury to another person, your auto insurance will provide up to $15,000 worth of coverage to make that person whole. That's the minimum, and sadly, it's usually never enough. Insurance companies will allow you to purchase greater liability insurance, but of course, the more coverage amount you have, the more expensive the insurance policy is. New Jersey is already known as one of the most expensive auto insurance states in the union, so a lot of people unfortunately can't afford to spend as much as they should. So people often ask, what amount of insurance is enough to protect me in the event I hurt someone else? And what you typically try and look at is what kind of assets you have. If you own a home, for example, if you have more than one home, if you have a large amount of money invested, you should get as much insurance coverage to protect those assets as you can afford. If you have $1 million worth of assets, but you choose to insure yourself with only $15,000 in liability coverage, that typically would be a mistake, because if you cause injuries to someone and the injuries exceed the $15,000, you could be personally liable and your assets could be attached. So what do we instruct people to do is talk to a broker, be honest with them. Insurance companies these days are very, very competitive, so talk to the insurance company. Another aspect of New Jersey auto insurance coverage that is critical is your personal injury protection benefit. That is, under your auto insurance, no-fault medical bill coverage. And what that means is you're purchasing a certain amount of coverage to protect you in the event you're in an accident. Your own insurance company pays for your medical treatment, and you could buy, based on a premium, you can buy different levels of coverage. The minimum allowed is $0. That's a bad thing. The typical first layer of coverage is $15,000. Anybody who's had any medical treatment in the last few years knows that $15,000 is going to be exhausted probably in the first few weeks or months after you've been hurt. The standard insurance is $250,000 worth of insurance. And what I will tell you is the difference between the minimum versus the standard of $250,000 is maybe at most $100 a year in a premium. But think about the mathematics of medical coverage of $15,000 versus having access to $250,000. It's well worth the $100. Always get the standard no-fault medical bill benefit of $250,000. Also, a very important feature is in the event you're in an accident with somebody who has the lowest level of insurance or no insurance, New Jersey allows for you to protect yourself and your family by purchasing what's called uninsured or underinsured motorist benefits. That means if that same driver had a $15,000 worth of liability coverage, caused you catastrophic injury, you're not stuck with that $15,000 if you've bought yourself underinsured motorist coverage in a greater amount. So if you've purchased $500,000 worth of underinsured motorist coverage, you would get the $15,000 from the person that caused your accident, and you'd make a claim against your own insurance for underinsured motorist coverage and have in that scenario up to another $485,000 worth of coverage to compensate you for your injury. So make sure you contact an expert, talk to an agent, take that information and go to a competing insurance company just like you would anything else and try and get the best deal you can for the most coverage you can afford.